What analogy can we draw between the Freemasons and Al-Masih ad-Dajjal? The Freemasonry movement has its origins and its roots in ancient Israel and in the Old Testament. A lot of the symbols which are used by the Freemasonry and a lot of the beliefs in the Freemasonry system comes out of the ancient scriptures, ancient Jewish scriptures. But the Jews have transformed the Freemasonry movement to be an international movement, not an exclusively Jewish movement. So that the link between Freemasonry and Judaism no longer exists today in the popular consciousness. So a Prime Minister of Australia can be a Freemason, yeah? And a Prime Minister of Britain who is not a Jew can be a Freemason. The reason why they've done that is so that they can use this movement, the Freemasonry movement, as a front through which they could pursue their objectives without allowing themselves to be identified as the actor.
Global transnational corporation. What you have with a corporation is you have a headquarters somewhere in the world, and then in each country you have subsidiary companies of that headquarters, that central point. And all the subsidiaries in the world carry out the policy of the central point. Well, what these Illuminati hybrid family networks have done is create exactly the same, but instead of companies, they are secret society networks. So you've got the center of the web in Europe, for historical reasons, at operational level anyway, people at places like London, not the British government, the secret society center in London. In Rome is another one, the Roman Church, Rome, and other points in Europe. And then in each country, you have families from the network in those countries whose job it is to run the networks that control that country's business, banking, politics, media, all of it. And so what you have is from this central point in Europe, the center of the web, all these different places and countries all over the world then impose on their country what is being dictated here. And that's why as I travel around the world, I see the same things being introduced in different countries at the same time, overwhelmingly justified by the same excuses. It's all a global network. It can be symbolized too as a web, like I say, with the Rothschilds real close to the spider, and all these different strands on the web are different secret societies, different semi-secret societies, transnational corporations, and all the rest of it. So when you see all these different names of these corporations that dominate the world in so many ways, and the pharmaceutical cartel and the oil cartel and all the rest of it, the biotech cartel, they're all different names or different masks on the same one face. And so you have this structure where outside of visible light, you have the reptilian control system, comes down through the Illuminati families, and they control the people in power to push the world in a certain direction. Another way of looking at it here. You see, all these different people, these fight among themselves and all the rest of it, though if it gets out of hand, they get sorted. So these sit on the top of all these different countries. They control these different areas of their societies, and the people are then played off against each other. These buggers don't go to war, they tell these buggers to go to war. And if we stop going to bloody war, game over. But we do. And at the top of this pyramid of manipulation is a group, an elite, who really pull the strings, which researchers know as the Illuminati, which is like Latin, as I understand it, for the illuminated ones. It's a name that goes back thousands of years. And if you think about it, every structure in our world, from a small business to a secret society, is based on a pyramid. A pyramid situation in which those at the top of the pyramid, say the top of a business, they know the whole agenda of that business, exactly where it's going, and what the whole game plan of that business is. The further you come down the levels, if you like, within that business, the less those people know about the big picture. They only know about their part in it. And this is how the secret societies work. On the lower levels of initiation, for instance, in the Freemasons, they haven't got a clue what the whole organization is being used for and infiltrated to achieve by those at the higher level. They only know their part in it. I mean, organizations like the CIA and other intelligence agencies, they work on something called compartmentalization, which is exactly the same. Those at the top of the agency know what the game plan is and what is the direction that they wish to go. Those lower down in the agency only know their part in it. And many people within this situation, they genuinely believe that what they're doing is good for the world, but they don't know what they're doing or how what they're doing fits in with what they're doing, fits in with what they're doing, and other people who also don't know the big game plan. And when you fit the bits together, then you see it's anything but positive. If this was a conspiracy involving enormous numbers of people, it wouldn't work. Someone would spill the beans years ago. Very tiny number of people who know the real game plan.